talk about bases. This is a Killican in progress. Little grot hanging out. The lighting's a little hard to see his base, but this is actually a video I started a long time ago. Never got around to finishing. So I'm going to finish their bases and possibly go into painting them. Like I said, this is just the base coat. He still has all the metal bits and guns and stuff. He's actually, it's little, those click right in. See the base a little better. Just kind of Warzone-y orc-ish. And his gun is magnetized also, so that if you get a weapon destroyed, pops off. And the weapons, the hand weapons, go in there, and they actually just pop in, kind of like that. So for weapon destroyed, if that's the result, you can pull that out. So I'm going to go back to some of the older footage, and then come back with some new footage. Alright, today for you I have a basing tutorial. More or less just some tips, some easy ways to get it done to do a full army. I'm going to do some monsters creature bases, some of the new bike bases, basic infantry, jump infantry or small flyers and jet bikes, skimmers, and Terminator sized bases. This one I'm doing for a conversion, so it's got the stand. Get into that a little later. So I'm going to first go over some materials and go from there. So first up we have some basic materials. These are just some of the things we're going to use. We use some Wellbond. Any white school glue will also work. Some Gorilla Glue, simply because it's a little faster. Your basic clippers to cut whatever. Knife in case you want to use polystyrene or anything like that. And an X-Acto knife. These are the main ingredients needed to do basing on almost any miniatures. I'll come back in a sec with some flock and some other materials. Now for other materials we have, I don't know if you can see that, it's foliage. Comes in different kits. This is medium green clump foliage. Then we have static grass. This is used to give nice grass texture, really rich in color. And forest green flock, really dark. We have more, this is a mix between the flock and the foliage. It's a little thinner. Then we have your basic green turf as well. You can get these at most hobby shops or Games Workshop. I have the Games Workshop, the snow, really nice. And then we have sand. From a train modeling kit. Comes in really handy. And then at the dollar store, everyone loves the dollar store, you can get decorative gravel. This comes in multiple different sizes, different coarseness. These are pretty thin, makes good for sand or any dirt for them to walk on. So one of the easiest ways to finish a base quickly is to use cork. This is a thin piece of cork I got at the dollar store. They also come in nice round circles. You can also get it in big sheets this big. They come in square. You get 2 for around $2. Now you can kind of see the thickness there. Won't focus, but you get the general idea. And as you can see, I've been breaking it off. What I normally do is I put it right up to the base and just tear it off. Get rid of that. Then you have the basic shape for a rock or just the earth below. From there you can use little ones to make it higher, give it different elevation, or you can just use a smaller one for lower bases. Now there's also some more in-depth or complicated or just cooler tools you can use. This is little piece of, not quite wire, it's used for modeling for trains and stuff like that, good for tubing. And corrugated cardboard, or not corrugated, but this comes in square pieces for pizza boxes. And you can get little chains. You can get, this stuff here is really good. It's a little mesh. You can make little fences or make them like walking over stuff. And this is just a straw. Makes for good tubing. And then little wire. Wrap this around anything you want and you're good to go. Okay, so the way I'm going to break this down is I'm going to work on the bases in different sections. Each one will have some before and after pictures and some explanations. I guess I'll start off by saying these I'm using for kilocans, so there's going to be 9 of them. These are going to be used for orc bikes, so there's going to be 3 of them. These are going to be used for my orc Defcoptas. And then on this side we have, these will be used for gaunts for Tyranids and Gretchen and orcs for orcs. These will be used for gargoyles for the Tyranids. And this will be used for a conversion I'm doing for a parasite for the Tyranids HQ choice, who will be going along with the gargoyles. Alright, step 1 for what I'll be doing for my kilocan bases is using that cork I broke earlier. I'm going to position it roughly like that. I'm going to get the well bond out. I'm just going to pour that on, get a little bit, not too much, you don't want to seep out the edges, and put it down. Now normally when you're doing this you want the model, but since I'm doing 9 of them and they fit on here fairly well, it's not going to be a big problem. And then you can either wait for that to dry, or to make it a little quicker, you can just make a big mess. One of the fun parts, especially with orcs, there's no limits. You can do whatever you want. Go like that. Then I'm going to take the sand. I'm just going to pour it on, shake it on. Get lots on there. And then press it down a little. And then shake it off. And then we're going to let that dry and I'll get back. Okay, I've done a little bit more of the bases. That one, the glue's dried. Finish this one like that. This one's got 2 layers. That one there. This one's solid, might do some stuff on top. And one with a little bit. These are just some of the bases. And this is the kilocan. I like to use blue stick tack to kind of fit them together, see how I want them to pose. This is the one I started earlier. Put them on like that. His feet kind of hit both edges. Or if you want, you can take the one with different layers. Put 1 foot up, 1 foot down. Give them kind of a I'm walking towards you kind of feel. Also, I have this one here. It's got posed with 1 leg moving forward. Nice big tusks on him. Gives a real dramatic feel. Alright, I'm going to get some more pieces on this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've decided for this base just to do a little fence. I've got a toothpick, which I'm going to break in half, and a little bit of mesh that I'm going to cut, which I already have cut actually. I have a little piece of mesh and the broken toothpick. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap it around, kind of pinch it, so that it stays together like that. Oh, or it's not going to stay. It'll stay once you add glue. Kind of like that. Then I'm going to do the same over here. Just get it on. Just like that. Then I'm going to have a bend a little bit. And it's going to go on the front of the base, kind of like this. Now I realize it's a small, oh, and it's going to break. It's a small fence, but it's more designed just for battlefield look more than actual use. I'm going to use well bond. I'm going to gob that on. Now it dries clear, so don't worry about getting it everywhere. And put that in like this. Then when it dries, paint it up to look kind of like mud, and you have a little fence. Now, I've got a couple other ones. This base I decided to just leave blank for now. This one has a little mesh, a little broken piece. This one I added in some of that tubing. This one, I don't know if you can see it, it's got the squished grot from the Giant kit. Love that little model. This piece here has a little chain. This one here has lots of different wires, cords, or whatever. And this one just has a broken down fence. There's going to be a model standing on it. And now when I paint these, what I normally do is I get, again from the dollar store, black craft paint, and I just load it up so it's pure black. I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Alright, for the next part of this tutorial, we're going to paint it black. Basically, just want to get it on there. This will fill in a little bit of the cracks. It also helps seal in the gravel. And then turn to the side, and you want to get inside the edges. Make sure it's covered fairly good. And if you miss a couple spots, that'll be fine. We're doing a couple layers of dry brushing over top of it. It'll turn out pretty nice. Now for the fence, just give it a light brush over. You want more of the sticks than the actual chain anyway, because we'll just be painting it metal. And I'll finish this and show you when I get back. Alright, for this next part, actually painting the base, we're going to start off with a burnt umber brown. Again, dollar store is fine. When that's dry, we're going to mix it with some tan or anything this kind of color. And highlights will mix in a little bit of white. So if you're new to dry brushing, basically what it means is you glob, I don't know if you can really see, a bunch onto your brush and brush it into paper towel until you get consistency kind of like that. Then you just lightly brush along. You'll be able to see some of it, but not a clear full coat. Just brush the edges. You'll really start to pick out some highlights. Nothing too bright. As we go, just go around the edges. Don't worry about getting any on the base, the sides of the bases. We can go over that in black after, or whatever color you prefer. Add a little more to there. If you get a little too much, kind of like that, that's okay. Just wipe off a little more. Go around it. And that's roughly, you got a little more in. Swirl your brush. You definitely want to use an older brush if you're dry brushing. You don't want to ruin your brand new brushes. And don't use fine detail brushes because they'll get wrecked pretty fast. Just go along the edge here. Alright, let that dry and get back. Alright, so I'm doing all 9 off camera, just so you know. So here it is. It's kind of just the basic brown. And I've mixed together a lighter color using that tan with the brown. Just get a little bit there, here. And here you just want to lightly go around the edges, and then kind of work your way in. Go different ways. Some parts a little harder. Just give it a little variant. Go around the edges again, lightly. You just want to pick out the higher parts of the detail this time, not as in-depth as the first layer. And if you're doing a whole bunch of these, they can actually go really quick. Because by the time you're done, the first 10 or so, the other ones are all dry. And you can just go back on the next layer. There, a little more out here. Almost done. Camera's not too great, I apologize for that. I'm looking into getting an HD camera, or camcorder. I'm actually using just a normal digital camera right now. And Alright, I'll get the rest of them up and I'll get on with the next layer. Alright, for this next layer, I'm using the tan and I'm really making it thin. Like really, a super dry brush, I guess. And just focusing more on the edges, a little bit in the highlighted areas. But because it's such a light color, I don't want to get it everywhere. I'll just change the color too much of the overall feel. Still want that dark and grungy kind of look, especially with Killicans and other vehicles tromping over it. Now, if you don't want to use these colors, you can add in a little mix of different colors. Add in a little red to the brown. That'll make a little more of a Mars rock kind of feel. And there we go. Alright, now for the metal bits for the fence, I'm going to take a dark silver. So mix a silver with a black. Get you a nice, well, a dark silver. Basically this will cover up any of the other colors you got on there. If you got any brown while doing the bases. And it'll help make the lighter silver pop out a little bit. And then from there, go straight to a silver. Just pick out highlights too. Doesn't have to be too super great. After all, it's from a battlefield, so it's been worn. And then that's pretty much it. It's hard to see with the camera, but no, not going to focus. I'll put some still shots up at the end of this video just to show the finished look. Now if you also want, you can add in a little bit of tin bits from the Games Workshop range or other colors just to give it a rusted kind of feel in certain areas. And I'll get the rest of these finished up and give them a show. Now, for the last part I take a black, just regular black paint, water it down quite a bit, and then dab it on. This is basically doing a wash. And you want to be careful when you do this not to just brush, because it will just lift the paint right off. Now what this is doing is it's going to darken it up a bit. It's also going to help to blend the colors, especially of that last highlight. And just dab around. Because it's watered down, it gets in the little crannies, nooks and crannies pretty good. This will also help me give it a little bit more of a feel. Make the chain look a little dirtier in spots. And get back in a bit. Okay, so here we are back. This is new footage again, or when you're watching this it will have just been done, or when it's uploaded. You can see, focus, it's not super detailed, but there's some texture there. It's Warzone, so it's not meant to be super detailed. I do a black paint job around the edge just to give this part pop out a little more. GW used to do it in a really bright goblin green, which personally I thought was really bad, but to each their own. Next I will be using some glue. I use this simply because it's really fast, just super glue. I'm going to be using some tufts, little tufts of grass. To get those off, just use these things. So, first thing you want to do is find out where you want to put it. For this, I'm going to put it near the fence line. I'm going to put probably 2 or 3 pieces. So right here you can kind of see open area. So I'm just gonna put a dab of glue, put another dab of glue over here, and one more over here. Then with that, see if I can get this on camera. Just gonna pick one of these, squeeze it, kind of peel it off, and then dab it right in the glue. Grab a little one, like that, and another medium one for over here. So as you can tell, that just kind of makes it stand out a little more. Also covers up some of the glue there that I put on really thick. Technically I probably should have put the glue down and then put sand over it, so the sand kind of piled up, but it was a long time ago. So there's that. Put the lid back on the glue. Move it off to the side. So as I was going through my computer trying to find some footage for a video, I came across these. Remember that I was working on them. This was in 6th edition when the Killacan wall was fairly unique. There was only a couple people that I'd ever heard doing it, and it was really fun. I played against it in a tournament and thought, that's really unique. Not many people are prepared to go up against 9 dreadnoughts, so I decided I would. And of course now, with 7th edition, we are allowed 6 Killacans for single choice. So instead of having a maximum of 9, we can have 6 per choice for 18, which is definitely a lot. But here's some just the rubble. See if I can get these all on camera. This one we just have a whole bunch of wires, drop down, dry brushed, real quick, real simple. This one, little tough grass. Also adds a little color to the base. You can use flock, you can use grass, you can use, whatever you want. There's that one. Then we have this one, some pipes sticking out of the ground. They've got some tufts of grass as well. We have this one, pretty basic. Oh, I have to put them like that. This one, I took the squished goblin from the Giants kit, and I actually cast it so that I could use it on multiple things. This one's just a grout on the battlefield that got trampled. But I'm going to put some on the side of some buildings when I do some terrain, as if they got thrown at it and stuck to the wall. It's actually someone in the White Dwarf. One of the White Dwarfs did that. This one here. That guy there. And then this one with just a chain, some fence. Oh, actually, zoom out a little. There we go. So there we have some Killacan bases. I actually have, I bought the Orcs versus Space Wolves, I believe. Yes. Starter box. The limited edition one. Or limited quantities one, I guess. And I actually have 3 more Killacans. So I probably won't get to those right away because I can't really see using more than 9 right now. But a can wall right now could be really a lot of dreadnoughts. 18 dreadnoughts on the field can be really just something that catches your opponent off guard. If they come thinking they're playing orcs and bring lots of flamers and anti-infantry stuff, and then have to go up against front armor 11, they can be in a lot of trouble. Also, if you wanted to add snow, even if it's this is not quite desert, I like to think of it more as just urban and kind of dirty. But you can still add snow to it because snow kind of falls over everything. And yeah, so hopefully you found some of this useful. And I'll get back with the Killacans probably someday.